can get started on our backs. You're welcome to find your way there. Set yourself up with any blanket or bolster. Coming into your practice. Coming into your breath, you might take some big full breaths, maybe some of your bigger breaths all day. And letting yourself arrive however you're arriving today. You're welcome, either on your back, you're also welcome to start in a seat. You can dim the eyes or just softening your gaze or closing the eyes. Settling into your stillness. Feeling the ground rising up to support you. You can begin drawing attention to sensation in the body. The feeling of your clothes on your body, your skin, temperature, the feeling of your breath, your connection to the ground. Where do you feel ease or flow? Where is there tightness or hardness, maybe? You might locate joy, sadness, worry, excitement, or maybe another feeling. Just noticing where those things are located in the body. How are they changing, shifting? And letting go of any particular focus, just taking in your full body, an ocean of sensation, whole, complete. We'll make our way onto your backs if we're not already there. And your backs, you can begin bringing your knees into your chest. Giving yourself a hug. Feeling that connection of your hands to your shins. Feeling the hip socket. And then feet can come to the ground. Really letting gravity take the knees to one side, windshield wipering the knees back and forth with not too much effort, just letting them fall to one side. And notice if, hip lifts up or what the kind of chain reaction is. Just gently letting them rock from side to side. On the next side, they fall and you can stay there. In a bit of a twist, not quite a stacked knee twist. Letting them hear you. You can open your arms wide if that's supportive. And coming back to center and going to the other side. Letting them drop to one side. Let your exhales be long. Coming back to center, knees pointing up towards the ceiling. Again, letting the knees drop over to whichever the first side was. And whichever hand is opposite of your knees, you can reach that hand up and over your head and then bring you over into a fetal position on that side. And coming onto your side body. Taking a few breaths here. That hand can extend back upright, coming back onto your back, knees pointing towards the ceiling, and the knees fall towards the other side. That opposite hand reaches up and over your head, coming into fetal position on the opposite side. And back onto our backs. Pressing into the feet, taking a baby bridge, just letting the hips float up a little bit. And rolling down and reaching in between your knees for the outsides of your feet for happy baby. Grabbing the outsides of your feet, and you can rock from side to side, maybe stretching a leg one at a time. And your hands can release your feet, bringing the knees back into your chest, lifting your gaze up just towards your belly button. And one leg at a time, we'll extend one leg long, grabbing one knee and then switching. So a slow bicycle. And without really having to think about it, your core engages. And then releasing the feet back to the ground. One more baby bridge, pressing the feet into the ground, lifting the hips up. Lowering down. We'll invite some rocks along the length of our spine. Balance in boat pose for a little bit. And then coming into a seat, a butterfly with our bottoms of our feet pressing together. Grabbing onto the ankles or the feet, lifting the crown up high. And taking a forward fold, you can gently press your forearms into your calves, or they might just come out in front of your legs. And coming back upright, we bring the knees in, facing up. Hands come behind us. We'll lift into a reverse tabletop, lifting the hips up. And not forcing too much of a back bend yet. You could be more of a hammock, less of a table. And you can shift your weight between feet and hands, making some circles. And the seat comes down. We'll cross the legs, coming into tabletop. Going right into some cat and cow movements, dropping the belly, gazing towards belly button, moving through any other organic movement, circular movement, looking over your shoulder. Settling into neutral spine. And then bringing the right hand just to your low belly, just checking in, sitting three-legged table. And then that right hand extends forward. Left leg extends long behind us. Keeping the toes on the ground or lifting them up off the ground, balancing. And then with breath, pulling knee to elbow and extending knee to elbow. Extending, one more knee to elbow. Extending, hold it here, reaching back for that top foot. Releasing, hand comes down, keeping the toes can come to the ground, stretch behind you. Then opening up into a side plank here. So opening up towards the left fingertips reaching up high. Fingertips can go pointing along towards the front of your space in the direction of your crown. And then coming back on to hands and knees. We'll reach the right fingertips back up towards the ceiling and then threading the needle through. Right fingertips go through left hand and knee. Left hand clasps with that hand or wraps around or just stays rooted into the ground. Steady breath traveling through the nose, into our belly and chest in this twist. And unwinding, that right hand comes back up. Taking a cat or cow in between any other movement. And settling into neutral spine. Left fingertips come to the low belly. And then extending the left fingertips long. Right leg stretches behind. Lifting the toes off the ground if you'd like, balancing here. And then with breath, knee to elbow. And extending, doing this 2 more times on your breath. Hand comes down, the toes touch the ground, opening up into a side plank on the facing the right. Fingertips peel up towards the ceiling. You can extend the fingertips towards the front of your space. And hand comes to the ground, taking a cat or cow. And then we'll reach the left fingertips up high, threading the needle to the other side. Steady breath. And unwinding slowly. Coming back to tabletop. And tucking the toes, down dog. Stretching through the heels. Walking the toes to the top of your space. Inhale, halfway lift, extending the spine long. And forward fold, hanging over the legs. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing, arms reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Letting them drop to your side, mountain pose. Chair pose, sinking the hips down, reaching the arms up. Forward fold. Stepping the feet back to our down dog. And then walking our hands back towards our feet. Feet are a little bit wider than our hips. And coming right into a squat. Sinking the hips down, heels can come up. Here, this first one, feeling your way in. You can shift from side to side. Bringing hands from center, coming just a little bit up away from your full flexibility, lifting, firing up the legs. And then coming all the way up to standing, reaching the arms up. Feet can wiggle back underneath you. Forward fold. Walking the hands out, right to plank pose. Lowering down, low all the way to the ground. Cobra, rolling shoulders back and down, lifting the chest up, gaze just ahead of you. Pushing back through tabletop into down dog. And we'll move through this flow, this salutation a couple times. So looking to the top of your mat, walking or stepping your feet forward. Halfway lift. And forward fold. All the way up to standing, reaching the arms up. Hands to heart center and to our sides, mountain pose. Chair pose, sinking our hips down, arms reach up. Steady gaze, steady breath. And forward fold. Stepping back to down dog. And then walking our hands back towards our feet for a squat, feet a little bit wider than our hips. Activating, pressing into the feet, lifting just up an inch. And then pressing all the way, coming all the way up to standing. Feet wiggle back underneath us if they were moved apart, and forward fold. Walking the hands out to plank and going through your flow. Releasing all the way to the ground or low plank. Another cobra or up dog. Meeting or down dog. Gaze to your hands, walking your feet to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Forward fold. All the way up to standing, reaching the arms up. Hands to heart center and to our side, mountain pose. Chair pose. And forward fold. Stepping back to down dog. Hands to feet, walking to the back of your mat. squat. Lifting up just an inch, activating the legs. And then coming all the way up to standing, reaching up. Feet underneath you. Right down to forward fold. And walking the hands out to plank, going through your flow. As you come back to down dog, taking a few big breaths here. Noticing any heat building. Bringing your mind back to this moment, to this practice. Reach our right leg up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog. Then opening the hip and inviting some hip circles here, painting big circles with the knee. And then pulling the knee forward towards your nose and stepping it through, lowering that back knee. Arms reach up for a low lunge. Twisting for your arms or arms wide, twisting towards the front knee. Then left hand comes to the ground. We'll tuck that back toe and just lifting the knee up, staying in this twist, the right fingertips reaching up high. Both hands come down. We'll spin that back foot down to the ground and come into warrior two. Body comes up, feet perpendicular. Gaze just beyond our fingertips. Where do you feel ease or flow? Where is there any tension, hardness? Inhale, reverse warrior, reaching the right fingertips up high. And side angle, elbow comes to thigh, left fingertips long. Reverse, right fingertips reaching up. Cartwheeling the hands down to the outside of that right foot. Three-legged dog, that right leg goes up in the air. And going through our flow, you can return the foot down or you can keep it floated as you go through your chaturanga. All the options you know are available to you here to make this your practice for right now. All of us meeting in down dog. Left leg reaches up high, opening the hip and giving some circles. Full rotation of that hip socket, nice. And then pulling knee to nose, stepping it through, lowering the back knee, low lunge, arms reach up. Twisting towards that front knee, prayer, hands or arms wide. Right hand comes to the ground, tucking the back toes, lifting the knee, twisting in this higher lunge. And hand comes down, the back foot spins down, warrior two. Reverse, left fingertips up high. And side angle, elbow comes to thigh, right fingertips long. Coming back upright, reverse. And cartwheeling the hands down. Three-legged dog, left leg goes up in the air. And moving through your flow, maybe a one-legged plank, maybe child's pose, right to down dog. Walking our hands back towards our feet. Forward fold here to start at the back of our mat. And then letting the feet come a little bit wider than the hips. Hands, whether on the ground or if you have blocks. Just practicing a little crow prep, whether you have gone into crow or just want to explore, even trying to touch the knees to the forearms of our arms, the very tops of our arms. And you might just do simply that, just trying to put a little bit of weight of our legs into our arms, kind of making a shelf with our upper arm to hold the legs. And you can just experiment shifting the weight. And then releasing that, we'll roll all the way up to standing. Arms reach upright. Pause here for a moment, letting the blood rush. And then reaching the fingertips up high and banana-ing to one side. So fingertips reach up and over to one side, you choose. Really rooting into the feet. And then back to center and to the other side. And then back to center, taking a slight back bend, lifting the chest up. And forward fold. Walking the hands out to down dog. Staying there, moving through your flow. We'll take 3 to 5 breaths in our down dog or taking a child's pose. Coming into body, into our attention, our mind, and breath. Building in moments of pause, of reflection, of checking in with ourselves. And meeting in our down dog. Right leg reaches up high, opening our hip again, and staying here with this open hip or flipping your dog. And coming back to 3-legged dog. with your breath, just pulling knee to nose, hovering, and then lifting back up, three-legged dog. And one more, knee to nose, hover, and then step it through. High lunge, arms reach up. You cactus the arms here, letting the chest open a bit more. And bringing the arms back to the ground, we'll walk the hands forward, lifting the back leg up, standing split. And foot comes to the ground, rolling up to standing. Hands come to center, Anjali Mudra, prayer hands. And then shifting our weight into the left foot, our right foot comes into tree. So taking this foot any place along the inside of that left leg. Rooted, but yet flexible in our lower body. Arms, branches can extend. And trees teaching us to be both strong and flexible. This right leg will float back, warrior two. And we can right away reverse our warrior, reaching his left fingertips up high. And side angle again. Elbow to thigh or binding. Coming upright, reverse warrior. And the hands come upright. The right hand will come to the ground. The back foot will turn in and we'll come into this high lunge twist again. The left fingertips reach up. Left hand comes down. We're going to bring the back knee, this right knee in behind us, tucking it in and coming to a seat. Coming to a seat here with the left knee pointed up towards the ceiling. And twisting, so grabbing a hold of this knee or hooking that elbow around, twisting, looking over the left shoulder. And unwinding, we can bring the left foot across a bit more, coming into a cow face pose, stacking the knees. They might not fully stack. You can keep it here, or trying to stack those knees up. And take a moment to find a tall seat. You might press into those feet, really scooting yourself up. And then walking the hands forward for any kind of forward fold that might be subtle, or bringing the forehead all the way to the knee. And coming upright, you can unwind these legs, bring the knees in front of you. Boat pose, balancing on our sit bones. We'll extend the legs, coming into a low boat, shifting down, and then coming back upright to boat. Doing two more of these. My feet come down, hands come behind us, reverse tabletop, lifting the hips up. You can drop that head back. And seat comes down, crossing the legs. We'll swinging them around, making our way into down dog. stay there or move through your vinyasa. Nice. Meeting in our down dog. Left leg reaches up high, opening the hips, letting that knee hang, and staying here, flipping your dog. And back to three-legged dog. If you flipped, we'll pull knee to nose, hovering. And back upright. And then knee to nose, stepping it through, high lunge, arms reach up. Practicing the arms. Hands come to the ground, walking them forward a bit, lifting that back leg up, standing split. And then foot comes to the ground, coming all the way up to standing, arms reach up. And hands to heart center. Shifting our weight into the right foot, left foot gets light, coming to the inside of that right leg, anywhere along there. Breathing, extending the branches, whatever supports your balance or maybe challenges it. Returning to your center, returning to this moment. Left leg floats back, warrior two. You can reverse that warrior, right fingertips reach up. And side angle, elbow to thigh, or taking a bind. And reverse. And cartwheeling our hands to the ground. The left hand comes roots to the ground, twisting. That back foot spins up, twisting towards the front knee, towards the right. Hands come down. We'll bring that back knee in, coming into a seat. It tucks in behind. Coming into a seat. And twisting. Grabbing a hold of that knee or hooking. Connected to the ground, but not bound by it as we spiral upwards. And unwinding and letting this knee possibly cross over, stacking the knees on top of each other. Gomukhasana. Wherever that lands for you, it will be a bit of a hip opener. You might press into the feet, getting kind of on square onto those two sit bones. And then walking the hands forward, any amount of forward fold. It's always our breath, always our sensation to bring us into our experience. And coming back upright, knees unwind, another boat pose. This time we'll twist, so bringing both hands over towards the left, to one side, and then to the other side. And moving slowly. You can release the feet to the ground. Another reverse tabletop, lifting the hips up. Maybe pressing a little bit more into those feet. And lowering down, crossing the feet or swinging the legs around. Finding your way into down dog and taking whatever flow you need. That can include child's pose or just staying in down dog, moving, resting, breathing. We'll all find our way to child's pose for a few breaths. Wrapping the knees, letting the chest melt over the thighs. Breathing into the mat. At any moment, these oceans of sensations changing, of our breath and our connection to the earth, of heat. Coming into down dog. And walking your hands back towards our feet. One more playing with crow, either crow prep or going into crow. Hands find the ground, you can really bend those knees and making a little shelf for them on top of those upper arms. Just playing with that. It's all an inversion with our head down here, whether your feet come off the ground or not. And releasing out of that as you're ready. Lift halfway lift. Then clasping the hands behind us and taking a forward fold shoulder rinse. I let out a noise, buzz the lips. And then releasing the hands down, bending the left knee a little bit. Left hand stays on the ground or also a block. And now peeling the right fingertips up towards the ceiling. So twist, forward fold twist. Right fingertips can stay up towards the ceiling or wrap around for a bind, grabbing that, reaching for that thigh or hip bone. And melting over forward fold. Take a halfway lift, extending the spine long. And then forward fold, bending the right knee, right hand in the ground, twisting up towards the left. Left fingertips up high or wrapping around. And unwinding, Walk the hands back to down dog. We'll come into a pigeon practice. Hip opener, right leg reaches up towards the sky. And pulling knee to right elbow, right wrist. And placing that shin at any, any angle. And figure four on your back is a great alternative. If you're in pigeon, you might take a moment of lifting the crown up high, lifting the chest up. And letting yourself melt over this front leg. And coming onto the forearms or resting your chest fully onto the ground. Steady breath. What it might you be able to soften more here with your exhales. There might be obvious places of tension or gripping. Or maybe some more deeper, more subtle places that you can soften. Taking 5 to 10 more breaths on this side. And slowly coming out of pigeon, whatever hip opener you're doing. Moving slowly, gently with yourself. Taking any supportive movement in between sides. Rotating the hips, stretching it out. Down dog. And make your way to the other side. So for pigeon, lifting the left leg up high. Pulling that knee through to the same wrist. Setting yourself up from the side, letting it be different, letting it feel different. Offering yourself any supports or cushions. You might take a moment of lifting the chest up, feeling more of an upright spine before melting over that leg. Settling in. Five to 10 more breaths on this side. Slowly coming out of the side, taking any movements that are supportive. We'll meet in a seat. Let's take a wide-legged seat. Feet wide. And just taking a forward fold over here. You might bring your forehead to the ground or to a block. Your hands can come to your eye sockets, gently supporting you. Or you can make it more active, reaching the hands a little bit beyond. Walking upright, scoot those legs in front of us. Here you take a reverse plank. Reverse tabletop would be a modification. So just really rooting our hands into the ground and lifting the hips up, pressing those heels into the ground. You can point the toes. Hips hit the ground. You can bring the knees in, grabbing the backs of your legs, and with so much care and love for yourself, rolling onto your back. One vertebrae at a time, head hits the ground. Letting go into the ground. We'll bring knees into the chest. And letting them fall to one side. For a reclined twist. Back to center and to the other side. And as you come back to center, taking the next minute or so for any other movements to close your practice. You can release right there into it, or accept the wall or any back bends that might be calling to you. Letting yourself be guided by your body without thinking or planning too much. Eventually settling into your stillness. And giving yourself that permission to be comfortable here, to feel supported, to take care. Grounded in our bodily sensation and breath without gripping on soft awareness. Deepening your breath. Gently blinking the eyes open. Bringing awareness to the space, your place within the space. And gently invite some movement. And always option to linger, to stay in your shavasana. Joining me in a seat if you'd like. Letting your hands make contact with yourself, resting, adding some weight. We can take a big breath together. Deep inhale and exhale. You can offer yourself a bow with gratitude for yourself and this practice and this community. Thank you so much.